Let's bring in the Middle East analyst and former senior policy advisor on the State Department's Israeli-Palestine negotiating team, Laura Blumenfeld. Laura, good to talk to you again. So over the weekend, we've seen a major escalation in the conflict. What's your reaction to that?
Israel is coloring outside the lines. I mean, they've gone over the green line into the West Bank. They went right through that red line to Rafah down in Gaza, and now they've crossed the blue line into Lebanon. They're trying to reshape the Middle East. This strike on Hassan Nasrallah was called Operation New Order. The United States was hoping to reorder the Middle East through diplomacy. Israel is going the military route. They consider themselves winning now, but it's not a defensive win. President Biden had told Israel to take the win back in April when Iran launched 300 projectiles at Israel. That's not the kind of the win they're looking for, not on defense. They want to win on offense.
And of course, we've mentioned the fact that it's moved as well to Yemen. So what happens next, Laura? Because, of course, President Biden is still trying to exert pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But so far, as you have just said, there seems to be determination on the part of Israel to go ahead with the conflict on every side.
Well, the timing is fascinating. Look, we're rounding the bend into October, and we're all familiar with the phrase October surprise. So I do think it's going to be a very kinetic month in the Middle East. I think Israel sees this as an opportunity, a window that is closing, just to kind of settle their scores, as your correspondent said in the studio. There are open accounts across the Middle East. They're PFLP, we haven't heard that in many, many years. So they're kind of settling their scores while they have the opportunity. The United States is busy with a presidential race, and they don't have the bandwidth really now to crack down on Israel. And what's also certain is whoever's coming next, whatever president, be it President Harris or President Trump, they're very unlikely to kind of give Israel the kind of long leash that President Biden has.
What does this mean for the hostages? Because we assume that the families who've got loved ones held hostage, obviously they're still pushing, protesting, calling on the government in Israel to do what they can to set them free.
Well, I just returned actually from a trip to the region. I was in Jerusalem, and from Netanyahu's point of view, this is good for the hostages. An Israel win, asserting their kind of military muscle. This is the approach he's wanted to take all along, right? Shoot now, talk later. And according to him, Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, can no longer rely on Hassan Nasrallah, Hezbollah, and the other proxies to apply pressure to Israel. So this, in a sense, strengthens Netanyahu's hand. I mean, if he were channeling former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, who always said you can't win at the negotiating table what hasn't been earned on the battlefield.
Okay. Laura Blumenfeld, thank you for your time once again on BBC News.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Around the world and across the UK, this is BBC News.